What's up, Internet? You're tuning in episode 30 of Nintendo Noise, Flip Screen Games' weekly Nintendo podcast. I'm your host, Pete and Bessie, joined, as always, one of our good friends and co-hosts, Mr. Steven Radford.
Hello, hello.
And Mr. Chewy Huerta.
Bye, goodbye.
What's going on, boys? Welcome back.
Yeah, another week.
Another week. Yeah, that's...
Another week.
We're still kicking here, right? Still going. Still gaming,
It's a big
everybody.
number. 30. It's the big 30, right? You know, aligns with our birthdays this year.
That's true. Thank you for reminding me
well.
that you and I are inching ever closer to the grave.
I'm
So I
already
will
there.
never be as old as Chewy, so it's
That's
fine.
yeah, right? It's so
Okay.
funny. I think
Yeah.
it's because of your youthful energy, Chewy. I don't think of you as being older than us, even though you're the oldest one on the show.
It's true. It's true. It's I think, I always thought I got my energy from my dad. And then later in life, I was like, you know what? My dad's always asleep. It's my mom. I got my energy from my mom. She was nonstop. She was raising like 5 kids by herself at one point. So
I get
Wow.
all of my
Okay.
energy
Yeah, you need
from
some energy to do that.
stimulants. So as I drink
Well,
my
that,
Diet Coke.
I think you've got the big dad energy, right? That's what everyone, you're Daddy Pete. That's what everyone calls you, right? So I feel like
Is that
that's
what everybody
that's
calls me?
what it is. Oh, apparently.
Yeah,
I've heard it. I've heard it, right? Although
heard it.
that makes Zayd like the granddad, right? Because he's Pete's dad.
That is his name on Nintendo Switch. Yes.
So he's granddaddy Zayd.
I'll take it. I'll take it. If people want to ascribe me with dad energy, I'm cool with that.
You've got it. I mean, you have a whole thing on the Bubblies on the Twitch channel just to make you dance, and you dad dance for like 30 seconds.
It's funny, that is the first thing I have listed in every one of my social media profiles is that I'm a cat daddy. So I guess it's, I guess
There you
it's
go.
appropriate.
See, 100%.
Yeah. Anyway, this is a video game podcast, so what's up? Welcome back to Nintendo Noise. Every week we get together and talk about Nintendo, I guess. We'll get there eventually. But before that, let me remind you that this episode of Nintendo Noise is brought to you by our Patreon producers for the month of March. They are, of course, Christian Oliveria, Christopher Valenz, Gabriel Hasselmeyer, a.k.a. Asobi, Mary Berry, Smilky Shake, Wakahula, and Zayd Ida. Thank you all so much for your support over on patreon.com/flipscreengames. Before we get into the rest of the plugs, I do want to take an opportunity to shout out one of our Patreon producers, Mr. Zayd Ida, because just this very week, he launched a brand new YouTube channel with a debut video all about Shin Megami Tensei 5. It is a great deep dive into the game, gets into like the whole story and the mechanics and, kind of talking about it in the context of, the broader JRPG scene and how it fits in. So if you're a Shin Megami Tensei fan, if you were thinking about playing it last year and didn't get around to it, great video for you to check out. There are some spoilers near the end, but they're very, very clearly broadcast, so you can get a lot out of it, even if you don't make it to the spoiler full section. So go check it out. We'll have a link down in the description. Show Zayd some love. Let him know that we sent you. And give him a sub. Speaking of giving some subs, give us a sub if you haven't already. Head over to the YouTube channel. Give us a like, a share, a subscribe, while you're at it, If you're one of those audio people, nothing but respect, head over to the YouTube channel. Give us a sub. Really helps out. But wherever you get the show, we appreciate you. Thank you for being here on another episode of Nintendo Noise. Of course, if you want to get links to all of the places that you can find us all over the web, head over to flipscreen.games. That's our website. You can get links to our Patreon. We got our P.O. Box over there. We got our Twitch channel, all the good stuff. Come be a part of what we're doing here. Come join the community right into the show, just like a bunch of people did this week for our question block segment by joining our Discord, writing into us at questions@flipscreen.games, or getting in touch over on Twitter @flipscreengames. However you choose to. Thank you for your support. Thanks for being part of the show.
Do you ever think that there's probably some people that listen to this show that have no idea what any of us look like?
Yeah.
Because they subscribe to the RSS feed and have never seen the YouTube videos, and all of us have just like drawings of our faces as avatars throughout the internet, so they can't even find us that way. So there's probably some people who right now have a picture in their head of what you look like. And I've done this right with radio people, and you look them up and they look nothing like it.
Like what you thought. For anybody who doesn't know what we look like, I want you to like draw a picture of what you think we look like before you actually look.
And then look us up.
And then compare them later.
That's great. So let's get to the video game talk here, all right? I know that one of the big things that we're going to end up talking about this week is Monster Hunter, because Steve has dipped into the Monster Hunter world. The community has gotten you to try out the demo for the latest Monster Hunter, and I'm going to show my cards here as a non-Monster Hunter fan. I don't even know what this game is called. So, Steve, take the mic. You've been playing this game.
Monster Hunter Rise. How do you not know what this is called?
Is it the newest one, though, or is there like...
It is the newest one. Yeah,
okay.
It's the newest one. So they've done the game trials thing again on the Switch Online. I don't know if either of you have tried these out, but I've been so impressed with how seamless it's been. You just go on the eShop, you download it, it checks if you can play the game, and it's the whole game, and you can just play it. So I've just been playing this since Friday. We're recording now on Tuesday, and I think I can play until the 17th, which is the day that this will go out. So you might still have a little bit of time if you want to at least try it out. But it's been good fun. It's one of those games where you need someone to show you the ropes again. There's no way I would have figured it all out, I don't think. Even though it's like Tutorial City at the beginning, it was nice to have people from the community, Asobi, Smoky Shake, Wakahula there to like hold my hand and take me through the whole thing on stream, which was good. And if you want to see the streams, you can check the VODs on Twitch or on YouTube if you're a Patreon as well. And it was just in time, right, for the new DLC that's coming out, the Sunbreak DLC. They had like a whole big video this week of revealing everything that's in there, revealing the story arcs, revealing some new amiibo. I'm really looking forward to some of the new amiibo. They look really cool. I actually might collect some of these. I know there's a Palico amiibo, which is a cat.
Yeah,
it looks so
cute.
Cool. Yeah, really cool.
I do like the Palicos.
Yeah, they're so cool. This game I love the fact that it doesn't take itself seriously at all. It pokes fun at itself all the time. It knows it's goofy. It knows it's not serious. Some of the quests are just ridiculous. We did a Sonic quest because they've got a bunch of crossovers. So they've got a crossover with Mega Man. They've got a crossover with Sonic. And you can get like a Tails outfit for your animals. You can get a Sonic outfit for you. And we went and did one of the quests was just go running around and collecting Sonic rings. That was literally the whole quest. We just had to run around and collect all the Sonic rings. It was so stupid, but it's fun. It's something fun to do with friends and just goof around.
You know, everything you've said is like everything I really, as an outsider to Monster Hunter, it's everything that I really like about Monster Hunter. Like, one, everybody knows it's like a very complicated, convoluted game to learn how to play, but the community is just so willing to be there with people just to get more people into it so they could play with more people. And then the other thing is crossovers. Like, they do the weirdest crossovers for Monster Hunter. Like, go look up the Animal Crossing crossover they did for...
I had no idea they did an Animal Crossing crossover.
Yes, if you enjoy the Palicos, they did skins of Isabelle and Rossetti as your little Palico characters.
That's hilarious.
I think it was Monster Hunter Generations 3 or 4, one of the 3DS ones.
Okay.
Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate, I think it was.
Yeah.
Animal Crossing feline outfits, which are, Rossetti and Isabelle.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, like those two things alone, I'm just like, why haven't I gotten into it? I unfortunately haven't gotten a chance to play yet, but I'm looking at it right now. I've got 2 days and 9 hours to beat this game, or just be like, all right, I'm gonna buy it.
So, Steve, I want to use this as an opportunity to pull in a question here from the question block. Friend of the show, Max Wright, wrote in and said, do you think something like Elden Ring would encourage or has encouraged you to tackle something like Monster Hunter, or vice versa? Both can seem daunting to approach for the first time with tough bosses and varied combat builds. Do you think you'll dive into Sunbreak? So obviously you're already playing it a little bit, but do you think that was a factor for you?
So the main factor, I'll be honest, is the fact that the community, namely Asobi, begged me to try out the game trial, and Wakahula then piled on and said, no, you've got to try it as well. So it was the community that led me to try it.
They can just get us to play anything these days, huh?
Yeah, they can just play anything, yeah. But I think I would have been more reserved about it if I hadn't have been so deep into Elden Ring and have enjoyed it as much, because I'd played a Monster Hunter before. I played Freedom, I think it is, on the PSP, and I was just like, it wasn't really for me. I didn't really understand what I was doing. But they said, no, come play. You can play online. We can teach you the ropes. You can figure out exactly what you need to do. And it does a very good job with the tutorials of telling you what to do, unlike Elden Ring. And I actually think it probably goes too far in the opposite direction. It's kind of like reading Game of Thrones, and it's throwing all of these like pronouns at you, like a palico, and what is like these like spirit orbs, and I don't know, like the wire bugs. Like, what is a wire bug? I don't know what a wire bug is until I start playing the game, but it's like telling me it right now before I've even started, and
Mm.
and everyone's just like, don't worry about that. Let's just get through it. Let's just get through it. And we had like some random people that hadn't viewed our channel before come onto the stream and were like really excited that someone new was playing Monster Hunter. I
I love
think
it.
it's very much got a similar passion in its fan base to
Definitely,
people
yeah.
that like Souls games, right? So
Yeah.
they kind of, I think, have a lot of crossover. And I can see why, because you do need to learn the monsters, you need to learn the approach that you take to them, understand how they're going to attack you. At the moment, I'm like so low level. I'm being carried by other people, and I can just button mash, right? I can just click X and A, and I'll manage to get through the fight. But I can tell as I go further into the game, I'm gonna need to learn the combos. I'm gonna need to learn the best approach to all of these monsters, which is something I really enjoy doing in Elden Ring. And so I could see myself getting into this. I don't think I would dive straight into Sunbreak. I know that they've done it, and they've done it so you can dive straight into Sunbreak. They've given you a bunch of items. It helps you get through the quest quicker. You get armor and better weapons at the top, so you can get to the new content early on if you want to. But I kind of want to experience everything. I want to do the village quests. I want to do the hub quests. I want to unlock all of the stuff and forge my own armor and make my pets look like Sonic and Tails. And I want to experience all of that goofy stuff myself before jumping straight into the new DLC.
That's cool. Yeah. Is did you get to watch the presentation for the new Sunbreak stuff?
I haven't yet. No. What was there? Some good announcements there?
I mean, I missed it this morning, so I haven't heard anything about it yet.
So I know that they announced the release date, 30th of June. So that's coming. There's new features. We've got new story, new bases, new locales, new monsters, and they've added a master rank to it. There's a new Citadel environment, and they like revealed some of the story stuff that there's like three lords that are the targets that you're going after, new wirebug moves, a special physical edition that includes the expansion, and obviously the new amiibo that they announced. But it's a 13 gigabyte update on the 30th of June. So
Jeez.
if you want to get into Sunbreak, you need to make sure you clear a bunch of stuff off of your SD card or your internal storage in order. Actually think it's internal storage for DLC, right? I don't think it can go onto the SD card, so
Really?
I
you
think
may
it
need to clear it off.
I think it goes to the SD
I
card.
think it can. Yeah.
Oh well, that's
Yeah.
cool. I mean, I cleared space off my SD card, and then when I booted the game, it said I needed to clear space on the internal storage as well.
Hmm.
So I don't know if that was for saves, like a save space or something.
I think the saves go on internal specifically.
Interesting. Okay.
Hmm.
Good to know.
That would make sense then. But like the new layered armor for the Palamute is it's like a Doge outfit. It's so cool. I love it. It's adorable. Um, and like the dogs are really useful in that game. Like you ride them as a mount and they can attack, and the cat goes and attacks. And if you're in single player, you can bring both of them with you. If you're in multiplayer, you can choose which one you want to bring with you. Like I want to bring my cat because I've called it Jasper after my own cat, but at the same time, being able to ride on the dog and jump and climb walls and things, it just makes
Yeah.
traversing the world a lot better. One thing I have really missed from Elden Ring is the jump button. It takes a lot of getting used to have to do a wire bug move when I'm used to just clicking A. Like in every game, it's like click A to jump, and that's like missing here. So I really am missing that. But that's not, slight on the game. That's just how the game's designed. It's always been that way, and I think it's fine to have the wire bug moves because it limits the fact that you can jump and you've got to strategize a little bit better in how you use it. It's either I jump or I do a special move or I dodge or I use a special attack. You've got to like pick and choose and really strategize how you go into the battles.
Yeah. I mean, the DLC is definitely giving me kind of like the Xenoblade Torna vibes, where that was like basically a whole bonus game that you didn't really have to beat Xenoblade Chronicles 2 to play. You could just go straight into it and go through it. And then that also had like its own physical release as well and that sort of thing. So, yeah, it sounds pretty chunky. How much was it?
I'm not sure how much it is, to be honest with you, but I know they've got a deluxe edition which you can get with in a physical version, and then there's the digital download you can get. Um, I'm trying to log in to find out how much it is, but it's not loading, so I don't know if either of you wants to try and find out.
Yeah,
But it essentially seems to double the length of the game. Like it really is a meaty expansion.
that's awesome.
I don't know if it's paid. Oh, it's paid. So it's 35.99. So it's quite expensive, but you can get the Sunbreak Deluxe Edition for 45, which I think comes with the base game. Which at the moment is I think on sale, which is why it's cheaper because they've got the game trial going at the moment. But
Yeah.
it looks like it's exactly what Monster Hunter fans have wanted. Basically, more of the same game, and really expanding upon it. And they've taken characters that are in the base game and formed stories around them. Like there's this merchant in the buddy zone that you go to, and Wakahula was saying like, oh, she plays a really big part in the Sunbreak update apparently, and she's like the main character. Like she was the one that was there at the event today. That like they're focused around her and the stories around her, and you go on like her boat and stuff. It's really cool that they've managed to tie it in rather than just going, here's a new area and you get teleported to it and it's like a totally different section. It's kind of closely integrated, which is really cool.
Yeah, that is cool.
That's
I like
cool.
that. So, to I guess to take it back to Max's question, I don't feel that way. I think because I like you, I've tried to get into Monster Hunter before, and I think the reasons that I'm able to get into Elden Ring don't necessarily extend to Monster Hunter, just because I think it's like I definitely see the comparison that Max is making in terms of like them both being kind of games that are difficult to get into, but then there's like excitement in mastering it and like understanding the depth and having that like kind of community experience and everything. But I just can't get into games that like have that kind of loot grind, like that has never been something that's appealed to me. It's like the same reason like I bounced off of like things like World of Warcraft in the past and stuff like that, where like
You ever get into like Overwatch? I know you're not a big fan of Diablo, but like Overwatch.
I liked
has
Overwatch a
similar
lot,
thing.
and like Overwatch.
I guess it's more character driven, right?
And that's why I
Rather
could
than-
play it. Like
yeah.
I think Overwatch worked for me for the same reason that League of Legends did, or like Pokemon Unite, or even like Halo, where it's like it's just about the match, right? So like you can have a good match and do really well, or you can have a bad match and do really poorly, but either way, you're getting some level of experience, or you're learning a little bit more about the game, you're getting a little bit better, or you're just having fun, right? And like that's all you have to do.
Yeah.
But games like
I
this,
kind of see that like Splatoon similar to that, right? But on face value, you can go in, you can just have fun in Turf War.
yeah.
But if you really want to get good, you've
You
got
gotta
to
grind
figure
stuff
out like the meta game around the weapons and the equipment and the like power ups and washing your
And-
clothes to get the chunks out and doing all of that stuff.
Yeah, and I don't love that. Like, I think that's one of the things that's kept me from like getting into Splatoon, is because like I just don't like things like that. Like, if it's a multiplayer experience, I want to be on even footing no matter what, right? Like, I don't want somebody who's played the game more than me to have an edge because they ground out for this piece of gear, and I'm like, I don't want to do that, right? Like, I don't want to play. To me, it's the same thing as like the argument of why breeding in Pokemon is not fun, right? Where it's like, I don't want to do a chore to have the advantage I need to have for the fun part of the game. Like that's not a fun loop, right? Like, you know, I remember we were talking off mic earlier and you made the joke of like, because I was like, I don't like games that have this much of an investment. And you're like, oh, well, how long was Persona 5, right? And it's funny because like I can put 100 hours into a game like that, right? Or I put 200 hours into Animal Crossing, right? More. But I think the thing is, right, like a game like
Animal Crossing is just like Chores the game.
Right.
And that is essentially what it is, right?
But both of those also have the same caveat, though, right? That like I can control the rate at which I do things. Whereas like with Monster Hunter, one of the things that people always say, right, is like, oh, it's much better if you have a group to play with, right? And yeah, it is. But this is what happened to me with Monster Hunter Ultimate, right? I wanted a new game. And a bunch of my friends got it, and I was like, oh, cool, I'll try this out. I've never really gotten into Monster Hunter. Let me try this, and I'll play it with my friends. And then all of my friends who actually get into the game play it religiously, and they text me every freaking day, like, oh, you're going to play Monster Hunter? We're going to play Monster Hunter? And I'm like, no, I don't want to play it that much. Like, I don't like it enough for it to be the only thing I'm playing. And if you don't play it that way...
with like Pokemon Unite, right? You got into that for a month, and it was like, come on, you got to come play Pokemon Unite with me for tonight. I'm going to be playing again. You know, I could show you the ropes, I could figure it out. And we had that one stream where it was just carnage the entire time, and it was enough to put me off that game forever.
Yeah, and it's like, and you know what? That's the thing, right? I can totally understand someone being like, it's the same problem, it's just different, right? It's just like somebody's skill is higher than mine, and they're just fucking me up, and that's not fun. And you know, to me, like that comes down to good matchmaking, right? Like we were part of the experience we were probably having is that we were all on different tiers, and we were getting matched with other teams that were higher level, and you know, it was just bad luck and a bad experience, you know. But like generally speaking, I can vibe with a game like that because it doesn't ask anything of me aside from me playing as much as I want to play, right? Rather than being like, oh, you just gotta grind this entire season to get this gear, and then it'll be irrelevant in 6 months. It's like, that's not, no thanks, right? Like, that's why I won't ever try Destiny, right? Like, I just don't like that kind of game, you know? If it was the only game I was playing, that would be one thing, but like, that's just not how I like to play. Like, I like to play a game for a couple months and then move on and play and do something new, you know? But like all my friends who play Destiny, right? It's like one of the only games they play. Like they play Destiny all the time, and then maybe they play one or two other releases a year. And like,
because it's an MMO and it's that time commitment.
Yeah, and it's like, that's cool if that's how you want a game. Like, it's no shade. It's just that loop has never been satisfying for me ever, not once.
No, I really got into Destiny for a while. I
like
loved
loot?
that game.
Like, you're a huge Diablo guy.
I do. Yeah, I love Diablo. But, you know, Diablo's the classic loot game, right? It's from 1997. Like, I'm in because of legacy reasons. It's not that, like, because I've tried other ones, right? I tried the Division looter shooter style, and I don't think Monster Hunter is the same as that. Those rely on luck and RNG to drop some good loot for you to pick up. Monster Hunter seems to be about picking up craft items and selecting the specific monster you want to go get, so you can.
There is some RNG though, because they don't always drop the items that you need. That was at least my experience with Ultimate, where I remember I was
not always, but
for a while, and let's do this one again.
There is going to be a level of grinding. Yeah.
Yeah, you know, I gotta keep fighting the Rathlos because I need Rathlos parts for my.
Yeah, but that's like the same as I think a lot of RPG games, right? We had that problem in the original Horizon. It was, I've got to go back to this area. I've got to go find all of the wood because I need a bunch of wood with me. It's like farming in Elden Ring, which Max has compared this to, like farming for runes. You were doing that on stream, or so I'm gonna go kill this giant
arrows,
and I'm gonna go kill a bunch of animals so I can get their bones and make arrows, or I'm gonna go kill this giant, get a bunch of runes, go back, rest. He'll respawn again, and I can go kill him again and get some more runes. Like, I think that's par for the course in any game like this. I haven't experienced any of that with Monster Hunter yet, but I am only like 4 hours into.
I mean, I've not played Rise, right? Like, I'm talking about my experience with Ultimate, which they're different. So Who's to say? So we have another question here from one of our Patreon producers, Mr. Wakahula, Monster Hunter Man, who wrote in and said, I'm gonna direct this one at Steve. Steve, are you interested in investing more time in Monster Hunter Rise after playing the game trial? And then the second half will say, for everybody, are there any other games which would benefit from a game trial?
Mm-hmm.
I like that question.
I think I am interested in playing
You're gonna
more.
Buy it?
Not yet, no. I think this is going to be one that I buy when there's nothing else out, right? And I'm just like, oh, I want something to go and run around in and explore and have fun with. And the good thing with the game trial is it's the standard game. I can pick up my save and I can carry on where I left off when I choose to buy the game, which is really cool. It's not a demo. It's awesome. Like the game trial system is fucking great, and I can see them expanding this to non-trial games, like them eventually in that expansion pack, including full games. Because it just is so seamless. Like the back end is there, ready and waiting for them. It just connects online, sees if you can play the game. Oh, you can play the game. Away you go. And I can imagine it would just do the every 30 days thing like it does with the Switch Online games currently.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that already works.
Yeah, it works really well. Chewy, do you think you're gonna try Monster Hunter Rise while the trial's out, or are you gonna wait until you've got a bit more downtime?
I'm definitely going to try it out. I haven't had a chance the first half of this week, but yeah, it's still like right at the top. I click on it just so it stays in like my first 4 selection. So I'm like, all right, I got to get to this. But yeah, it's literally just that I haven't gotten the chance. But I've been wanting to try it. I mentioned a while ago, like I tried out the Monster Hunter Stories 2 demo, liked that, got it for my birthday. Still haven't played that yet, but I'm like, maybe that's the place for Pete to start, the Pokemon like version of Monster Hunter, you know. But yeah, I have always been interested, mostly because everybody I've talked to is always like, it's great, I'll play with you, and it just seems like, the community's there with open arms wanting to welcome everybody in. So I think while it's I don't know. I guess I don't think it'll be too hard to get into it with so many people willing to help you out and play with you and everything. And if it is something that I get into, I'd probably play it pretty regularly, honestly, because I got really heavily into Splatoon. I get just really into all sorts of random games that I guess don't really get anywhere. I mean, I played Animal Crossing for 1,000+ hours, so I'm just like, yeah, I could go nowhere with this for a while. So yeah, I'm down.
Yeah, I'm not gonna check this out. I again, no shade. I know my habits enough, and I don't think this is different enough from past Monster Hunters. Like the way that Elden Ring was like kind of like okay, all right, like I'll try this because it's different. Yeah.
If the patrons vote for it for like the Thursday stream, you're gonna have to play it.
I'll watch you play it, I guess. I don't know. I can't.
You'll watch me play it.
I can't pretend that I'm interested in another Monster Hunter. I'm sorry. I spent $60 for that experiment last gen. I'm good.
Yeah. But
No
what
shit.
if it's the one though, right? Because I keep doing this. I do it with Pokemon games.
Yeah.
I buy a Pokemon game every
How's that been
every other
working out for
Pokemon
you?
game. I seem to buy one. Loved Let's Go. Not liked anything since.
Right. So.
Yeah. And I think Let's Go was just the action of that Pokeball, just throwing it.
So good.
So satisfying.
You are such a confusing person.
I know, right? I am, yeah. But in terms of other games, no one knows. Like no one knows what type of game I like. I don't even know.
You don't even know.
Yeah, I have no idea. I just play them, and I'm just like, yeah, this is good.
If you had asked me, right? Like if you had asked me in a vacuum, okay, 3 games are coming out in the next couple months, right? Okay, there's going to be a new Pokemon, there's this new Elden Ring, and there's this Monster Hunter expansion, right? Which of these 3 are the games that Steve will like weirdly get into?
Yeah, like none of them. He's not gonna play
I
any
mean,
of
no,
it.
I would have gotten the order totally wrong for sure. I would have been like, oh, most likely is Pokemon, least likely is Elden Ring.
Yeah, I could see that. Yeah. Oh, I don't know. It just something about it just grabbed me out with Elden Ring. But that, if you want to hear about that, go listen
Your
to the
tastes
Subscribe
are
Games
maturing in your old
podcast.
age. I respect it. I get it.
Yeah.
You're opened up to new flavors. That's what happens.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and in terms of Wakula's question, the which other games would benefit from a game trial, I think any game would be open for this, but in particular online games. Like if they did a game trial for ARMS and Splatoon and games that they want to make a thing of, right? And they get people into. Mario Kart 8 would be a perfect game this week for a game
Fuck that.
trial.
They don't need to make that free. That they've sold enough
No,
copies.
because if it's a game trial, you get the game trial plus you're going to get the new expansion pack, right? And then they can just sell the expansion pack to people. Stuff like that, where they want to flog DLC, is the reason these game trials exist. They want to get people into Monster Hunter, and then they want to sell them the Sunbreak DLC. So you want to get people back into Mario Kart, and then you sell them the new DLC. Do the same thing when the inevitable, well, I say inevitable, but my optimism is speaking for me. The inevitable Mario Party DLC comes out, get Mario Party Superstars on the game trial, and then sell them the DLC. And I think that system could really work.
I think that makes sense. I would say it's like any of the games that are exclusives that have like a smaller number of sales, right? Like I pulled up the Wikipedia.
Monster Hunter had a
list.
huge number of sales, right?
Yeah, sure, but I'm just saying, like, in terms of what would be good candidates, it's like games that people might be interested in that they haven't taken the plunge on, right? Like, it's like, I have, like, here, like, Super Mario 3D World plus Bowser's Fury, that hasn't broken 10 million sales. I bet you could get a few more sales on that. Link's Awakening, that's something that you could use to get it back in front of people, There's, like, Fire Emblem Three Houses, right? Like that could be a good one because
that would be perfect.
That game takes
with
a little
the new
bit
game coming up
to get going, right? There's like the Warriors game is around the corner. That game sold well for a Fire Emblem, but it's only got 2.87 million. I bet you could get a lot more out of that if you gave people a chance. New Pokemon Snap is another one that I think a lot of people maybe would probably feel like. I could see people being like, "Ooh, $60 for that." I don't know. But then they try it and then they grab it anyway. Like that might work. I think like you brought up ARMS, like ARMS, Mario Golf. Those are ones that I would definitely say. Pikmin 3, Deluxe. That's another one.
Like Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze. Like no one talks about that anymore.
Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle. Like the sequel to that's coming up. Like Pokken. Like even Octopath. Like when they just had Triangle Strategy out. That would have been a good time to advertise that. But then I guess you're also maybe limiting sales of Triangle Strategy. So like there's probably a dance to be done there. But WarioWare.
Are they Nintendo publishing Triangle Strategy, or is that
they're not
Square published game?
It's a Square.
So they probably don't give a shit because they've published Octopath. So just
sure
crack on with the game trial on that one.
But I think any of those games that like are in that kind of like critically beloved but didn't necessarily have the sales that like some of the higher executed stuff on the Switch did, like all of those would be games that would benefit from that bump.
Yeah. I think an easy path too is just like those really intimidating, huge JRPGs that they have so many of. Like Xenoblade Chronicles would benefit from it, I think.
That's a great one.
Yeah, because I would have loved to have got into that before the new ones coming out, right? It would have been cool to be able to go back and try where it began. Start with the first one, give it a go, get into the story. You potentially sold 3 games there if you hook someone in on that.
I think like something like Shin Megami Tensei makes a lot of sense to me too, right? Because it's like a really deep, long game, and it's like I think it's the kind of game that seems intimidating. Like I think Xenoblade is like that too, where it's like, do I really want to play this like 100-hour JRPG that I don't know what it feels like? I don't know, right? But maybe you play it, you get into the first couple hours, and you're like, oh, this slaps. I'm into the story. Like I'm in, right?
Yeah.
And then you buy it, right? I feel like that makes a ton of sense for games like that have a slow start.
Yeah, and then even taking that Shin Megami Tensei one and reversing the letters so they spell out Tokyo Mirage Sessions, their crossover with Fire Emblem. That's one people could try out too.
There you go. But yeah, I think I'm with you, Steve. I hope that they see that there's opportunity to leverage the game trial a little bit more effectively, because like it's a great system. Not one I've ever taken advantage of, but it's just
No, me
because
neither.
I don't think they've offered enough games. Like it
Yeah.
usually seems to be games that I've either already purchased or that I just like Monster Hunter is just not for me.
Or they're like Japan specific. Like I'm sure Japan has had tons of games we haven't. I remember they had Captain Toad and stuff at one point. Whether that came over here or not, I can't remember. But I'd have jumped on that one, I think, if I'd have known about it, because I want to check out Captain Toad. I love the Captain Toad levels in 3D World, and it would be cool to be able to play some more. And I probably would have bit on that one if it was on sale and I tried the trial and I was into it.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think creating that pipeline, at least for their self-published games, it's just something that makes sense for them to do. Even something like Bayonetta, right, where it's like that's like a cult thing, but like how
And they're about to
popular
have
is it?
3 of them.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know. I feel like having trials for those games like baked into your
It's behind a
annual-
paywall anyway, right? So it's an online service, so they're already getting some money out of you. You have to be subscribed in order to play them.
Yeah.
So why not?
Because, even like thinking beyond that, because I know this is all locked behind the pay service, but like even if they just like extended that too with like, oh, people who don't pay for online, they do get their like every once in a while a free week or so. And what if they just like instead of a free week, they were like, let's let you try out the Super Nintendo stuff or even beyond like the N64 stuff. For anybody who doesn't pay for that, they're like, all right, give it a try, see how you feel about it. Is this worth doing?
Yeah, and I think it's the kind of thing that I think will probably only help sales, right? Because I don't imagine that there's a person who's like, oh, I was just about to buy this old game and now I played the demo and I don't want it now. Like I think it's the inverse is probably what's going to happen.
Yeah.
And like expansion pack is getting better and better. If they do go down the route, if you get a 7-day free trial of the expansion pack and you're like, oh, well, they've got Animal Crossing. Now I can finally check out Happy Home Paradise. And oh, Mario Kart 8's out and I can try all of the new tracks that are coming. Like, yeah, it's only the first wave at this point, but it gives you a taste of what's to come. And you know that we've got, another 30 coming and up until the end of next year after this first wave. It's like a crazy amount that's on the way. And it would be enough for someone who is a big Mario Kart fan and a big Animal Crossing fan to probably buy it at that.
I'm so excited for that this week. I want some new
Me
tracks
too.
so bad.
Yeah, we should do a tournament.
Definitely.
Yes, definitely. Probably next week then, because it's out Friday. We can maybe do it for next week's Thursday stream if you want.
That'd be great. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe we throw an extra day in or something, because I know Thursdays are busy for Chewy sometimes. I'd do it like on a Friday if we want. All right, so this next one comes from another one of our Patreon supporters, Mr. Trendy Brendy, who wrote in and said, with games like Elden Ring and even Pokemon Legends having immediately summonable horse mounts, or in Pokemon's case, a big deer thing, what do you think about Breath of the Wild's horse system, and how do you think they could change it for the sequel? I like the teleporting horse armor from the DLC of Breath of the Wild, but I also think it looks ugly on my horse. It goes over my horse's styled and dyed mane. I know there's appeal to the realism in being within whistle distance of your horse and the immersion that can bring, but I fell in love with the movement in Pokemon Legends. Curious, Trendy Brendy.
I fucking love the fairy horse in Elden Ring. I absolutely adore it, that you just whistle it and you're on it straight away. And it's got like a double jump and it's really cool. I think they could do something like it in Zelda, but it would have to be like a robot horse, right? Like one of the guardian horses, and maybe it's like a machine that
I don't know. I don't think it
use
has
or
to.
something.
Because, like, I think the thing that I don't like about Breath of the Wild's horse system is the, like, oh, your horse couldn't hear you because you're, like, too far away. Like, that's just, I feel like that's needlessly obtuse, right? Like, it's like.
And it stays where it is, right? So you get off the horse, and your horse has stayed there. And so if you want that horse back, you got to go get it and ride it to a stable.
Or you go to a
stable
stable and you can have them get your horse back, but that's still annoying.
Yeah.
It's that to me is like the idea of that. Oh, like there's something nice about the realism of that. I feel like that's a thing I could leave in the gutter. I think of like how it works in like Ghost of Tsushima. I'm pretty sure it works this way in Red Dead Redemption, where it's just like literally anywhere you are in the entire world, you whistle and the horse comes. Like
That's how it works in Horizon as well, right?
Right.
And I actually like the system in Monster Hunter, bringing it back to that, where it's always with you. It's like a companion that's always by your side. You don't have to whistle it because it's following you, and you can just get on it at any point. Like, does it need to be a horse? Could it be another animal that Link uses? Could it be another type of mount that Link has access to? And then it could always be with you at all times, and it would make more sense narratively than it being a horse that you captured in the wild and then put in the stables and whistled, but it couldn't hear you. Like, there is a lot of annoyance with the horse system, so much so that a lot of the time I just didn't bother getting a horse out. I went and explored without it because I knew that I would end up leaving it because I wanted to use my glider to jump off of an area, and then I'd have to try and get my horse back. And it's
Or you
just
couldn't
like
climb a cliff because
you can't
the
climb
horses
yet.
can't climb.
Yeah. Yeah, I think
Yeah.
that's the thing that just bugs me about it is like if it was just not limited to the horse being like a static object, I don't think it would be a problem. Because I think you look at any of these other games, right? Like you brought up Horizon. That's the thing that happens sometimes where you'll be like, oh, like I've gotten to a place where I need to hop off my mount and climb, but then when you get to the top of wherever you are, you can whistle and it'll just come to you, right?
Yeah. But Pokemon's is really cool, right? Because they're all in, I guess, they're all in balls in your pocket or whatever. Like, that's the whole Pokemon lore in the world, right? But you've got different types of mount that for different occasions. You want to climb something, there's a mount for that. You want to go fast along the ground, there's a mount for that. You want to go through water, there's a mount for that. You want to fly, there's a mount for that. And I really like that system. And I could see that working in Breath of the Wild, where you have different tools for the job, because you've already got that with solving the puzzles. Like, I've got the magnesis, or I've got the bombs, or I've got the thing that freezes. There's all of those tools. If you could expand it and have different types of mounts, different types of transportation methods, that would be really cool. Like, we had the bike in the DLC, right, which kind of broke the game because you could go so quick that it had loading screens came up. But I think it would be really cool to have different transport options moving forward. Like, the glider's cool, but what's next? Like, how do we expand upon that as well? Because I do think it would be nice to have something new, something fresh.
I want a
Because
hook
every
shot.
game's got a glider at this point.
I think
Yeah,
that's
hook
the
shot
thing.
would be awesome. Like, be able to just
Glide
quickly
and
jump
then
up to where you want to go.
shoot and Spider-Man your way up and then jump back on the glider and like stay in the air for longer. Like, I think that's the, and like maybe they give you like the thing you can do in Spider-Man where like you dive to get momentum and then you can go back up and like
It
things
feels
like
so good, so satisfying when you do that. Yeah.
yeah, like things like that I think would be cool. But I think those are iterations on the systems that are already working rather than like really reinventing the wheel. Like, I don't feel like you need a ton of new toys. I feel like it's like, how can we make the stuff that already felt great feel better, right? Like, that is, I think, the more interesting question for me. Because I think the more you try to add in like big sweeping new things, the more they feel like gimmicks. Look at Far Cry, right? Like, that was what we were talking about with like 5 going into 6, where it's like we just keep adding things, and it's just at a certain point it just feels like noise, right? Where like having
Well, Mario was that as well, right? We spoke about that last week, which was like, well, each one had its gimmick. It was like Mario Sunshine's got Flood, and Galaxy's like the motion controls, and 3D World's like it was this cool new angle,
but they really
in
commit
Odyssey,
to it, so it doesn't feel like a gimmick. It's like, this is what this game's thing is. But that's the thing, right? With Breath of the Wild 2, it has to do all this stuff that Breath of the Wild 1 did. So on some level, it has to be like, I think, more iterative than it can be just like, hey, this is new, so we're gonna, oh, I know you liked the glider, that's gone now, here's a new thing, right? Like, that's gonna be the question.
I could see the glider being gone. I could see them doing like a wingsuit or something.
Maybe.
Yeah, and there's also the situation where, like, a lot of our moves were tied to the Sheikah slate, and they could easily remove
you get rid of
from
that,
our
right?
possession and then give us something else,
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, and like that'll be an
'Cause we
interesting
don't even
question.
know what-
Do you have
we
the
don't-
same
we don't-
abilities and then there's new ones, or are they gone and you have all new stuff now?
I mean, we don't even know what timeline it's taking place in, right? Is it before or after Breath of the Wild?
Definitely after.
Where are we? When
it's
are
the
we?
sequel to.
It's
Breath
the
of the
sequel
Wild.
to it.
That means,
Yeah.
that means it's later.
Don't know what that means yet. There's time travel in a lot of Zelda games.
That is true.
Most of them.
Yeah, I'm kind of anticipating it being like an Arkham Asylum to Arkham City thing, whereas like and if you've never played those games, right? Like you end Arkham Asylum and City takes place like a few days later or something like that, and it's like all of the stuff you had that you built out over your time in Arkham Asylum, you have at the beginning of the game, like right off the bat, so you never have that like
great.
power loss. You're like, cool, I already have all these abilities, I know how to use these, great. And then they give you new stuff on top of it, and they upgrade certain things so that they have like a secondary ability, right? Like, you know, you had the grappling hook, and now you got like the double grappling hook or some shit, right? Like, you know,
Yeah.
I think it's going to be something like that more than anything.
Yeah, I mean, well, we all know we're playing as Zelda in this one. I think that's been confirmed at this point. So I think that's maybe the new gimmick, right? Like you're your Link's companion.
Yeah. I mean, I still really do hope we can play Zelda at some point. That was
would
one
be
of the
nice.
biggest things that interested me in Age of Calamity. Just the fact that I was like, oh, I could play as Zelda in this one. Cool.
Yeah, I don't think it's gonna happen. Not that I'm in any way against it. I don't know. I have such a hard time thinking that Nintendo would do something that radical. You know?
I mean, they made a Zelda game without Zelda in, with Link's Awakening, and it had Mario in. That was like pretty radical.
Yeah, but have you heard like how that game got made?
The story of that, yeah.
Yeah, it's just like a bunch of people
were
were making it like in their free time at night, and then it was like basically done. And somebody like, you know, like somebody important got involved and was like, all right, cool, let's make it. Like not the sequel to Breath of the Wild. You know what I mean? The best-selling game in that franchise's history. So yeah, I mean, I think it's like small innovations are what we need for that, right? Like make it so I can whistle anywhere and the horse will come, and I think that system's immediately better. But Zelda could also get away with like something more magical, you know, a la Elden Ring. So
I think an easy fix to that is like we had instruments in the past that Link could play. There really wasn't one in this one, but the Ocarina, you play Epona's song, Epona shows up from wherever. So I think that's like a workaround with it. Just give us an instrument in the next one.
I would like that. All right, so let's jump in to our talking point for the week. We are going to be checking in on our predictions. We did 2 episodes worth of predictions this year on this here program. Episodes 20 and 21, we did our calendar predictions on release dates for the year. And then on episode 21, we did just straight up Nintendo stuff. So we've got a couple here to go through. We'll go through our lists and check in. We did this over on Flip Screen Games this week, and we've already got some points on the board. On this list, a lot quieter right now. You know, a lot quieter. So it'll be interesting to check in on this. But we'll start with the dates predictions, because we've definitely had quite a bit of movement there already, and some big upsets points wise for certain folks. So so for the first game on our list, we had Pokemon Legends Arceus. We all agreed that it would hit its January 28th release date. So, bully for us. We all we all got a point there, I guess. It's meaningless.
And I'm still playing it. Still playing it.
Me too.
So good.
Still shipping away. So then next up, we got Kirby and the Forgotten Land. Its announced release date was spring 2022. I said it would come out in 2023. Steve said it would come out April 22nd, and Chewy said it would come out May 20th. We were all so wrong. So that one...
Well, sort of. I mean, it's not out yet. It could get delayed. Very unlikely at this point, considering it's out next week. But
yeah, I think that's pretty unlikely.
Yeah.
We shall see. So then next up, we had Advance Wars 1 and 2 Reboot Camp. Announced date was spring 2022. I said April 15th. Steve said March 25th. Chewy said April 8th, which was the exact date that they announced before indefinitely postponing the game due to, you know, obviously what's going on in the world. And, you know, while of course that is the right decision, of course, very upsetting for one Chewy Huerta.
I understand now why they're never gonna make more Advance War games. Like
There's
the
just
world
always
needs
a
to calm
war.
down. Yeah.
You can't be putting it out.
Yeah. Somebody pointed out the other day on Twitter, the first Advance Wars
Yup.
came out September 9th, 2001.
Yeah.
Yeah, it sure did.
That is rough.
Really bad, isn't it?
Good
That is so
timing for
rough.
that series. So we got a couple other games here on the list. The next one up is Splatoon 3, which I said would come out July 29th. Steve said July 15th. Chewy said July 22nd. We'll see what happens there. Mario Plus.
Looking like August, right? Based on the QR code that was hidden in
Oh,
the
right. I forgot
in
about
the
that.
trailer. So it looks like we might all be wrong on that one too, but obviously it's not been announced officially yet.
But it's for my birthday.
I think there's a real good chance we all get no points on this, if I'm honest.
Yeah, we've all got 2 so far, so we're doing really well. We've all got 2
Yeah,
points.
Yeah, I don't know.
That was the easiest one, though.
Wait, no. Oh. No,
Do you
no,
remember
no.
the rules? It's 1 point for the month, 1 point for the exact day.
Okay. All right. Double
You get
points if
2
you get
points.
the day exactly right.
Yeah. So if you get the day exactly right on an unannounced game, you get 4 points.
Okay.
If you get the month right on an unannounced game, you get 2 points.
Well, we'll see. So then Mario plus Rabbids Sparks of Hope, also supposed to come out in 2022. I said March 24th. Steve said June 9th. Chewy said September 15th. I'm going to go ahead and say I'm wrong on this one.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Day before Kirby,
Unless
it's
it's
very
gonna
unlikely.
come
I
out
think.
next week, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think so. Bayonetta 3, 2022. I said 2023. Steve said September 2nd. Chewy said October 7th. We'll see what happens. Sequel to The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. Again, 2022. I said 2023. Steve said December 2nd. Chewy also said 2023. Then we got Metroid Prime 4. No release date. I said 2023. Steve said October 7th. Chewy said 2023. Wind Waker HD. No date. I said July 15th. Steve said August 12th. Chewy said August 5th. Then we have Untitled Donkey Kong game. 2020 for me, 2023. Steve, 2023. Chewy, October 21st. We said an Untitled Mario game. So these are all just ones that we're just hoping happen. So you're right.
Yeah. There's a wish list.
I said November 11th. Steve said October 7th. Chewy said 2023. And then we said Game Boy on Nintendo Switch Online. And that could be October 14th.
I was definitely wrong.
From me. Steve said February 21st. Big wrong on that one. And Chewy said September 9th. So not a lot of points so far. A lot of wrong answers so far.
Yeah.
We'll see how this one goes.
Interesting that none of us predicted another Pokemon game. Not one of us thought there was going to be another Pokemon game later this year.
That was probably a safer bet than anything that we said. You know, I wouldn't have thought.
I don't know, because I think we all thought Arceus was it. It was like, oh yeah, there's not going to be another one after Legends, right? And we've just had
It's
Shine and
insane,
Diamond,
frankly.
Pearl.
Right? Like, it seems like a
Yeah.
crazy thing, but all right. What are you going to do? All right, so jumping into our predictions from episode 21, Chewy, why don't you read your list?
All right. Number 10, Splatoon 3 Joy-Con or limited OLED console. I still think that'll happen. Number 9,
Yeah.
Fire Emblem Radiant Collection on Switch.
I don't know,
Who
buddy. I think that one's in danger.
It might as well be, yeah. This one also in danger. Batten Kaitos 3 announced. I don't think they'll ever go back to it. That was more of a selfish one for me. The next Mario Kart is revealed.
Done.
It is called Mario Kart 10.
I'm calling it. That one's red. That ain't happening.
Just wait till E3. Just wait.
We'll
Just kidding,
see.
it's not
I mean,
gonna
I'm happy to unread any of these at any point, you know? I think right now you got two that are in real danger of not happening.
Pikmin Bloom shuts down by the end of the year. I guess they're still doing community events, but I
stand
don't
by
see
this
how much
one.
longer that's going to go.
I think you might be right here.
Yeah, that one ain't
I
happening.
haven't
is
seen a
it?
fucking person talk about that game.
Yeah. Metroid Prime remake to celebrate the 20th anniversary of Metroid Prime. Who knows?
When is that?
I feel like that
Tomodachi.
one's more likely than Prime 4 at this point, which was on my calendar predictions. So I'm
I
slightly
told you
worried
you
about
were
that.
high for guessing that. November 18th, 2002. Yeah, so maybe in November.
Yeah. Tomodachi Life, a Switch game. I forgot the little subtitles that we put for these. Amazing. Nintendogs Mobile. Hopefully, I feel like that's the best mobile idea Nintendo could do.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Although I could see Tomodachi Life on mobile as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true, honestly. I could see that. But the tagline here is a Switch game, so it's gonna be on Switch. Nintendo shows announced to stream exclusively on Peacock and Nintendo TV, a new streaming app for the expansion pack subscribers.
This
This
is
one's
your
wild.
most insane one. It's just, I don't know. Yeah, Peacock, whatever.
They got the deal with Universal, you know, so
Yeah.
that's where all their shows are going to be.
Maybe so.
Yep. Nintendo will publish a new Nindy a la Good Job. I can see that.
Have we had
happening,
that
so.
yet?
No.
I'm trying to think.
I don't think there's been
so.
any Nintendo published indies since Game Builder Garage.
Yeah, I don't think they've done any indies quite yet this year, but there's still plenty of time for that one to happen.
Mm-hmm.
And then my risky one, which it can definitely happen. Chris Pratt will be fired and recast in the role of Mario. The film will be delayed.
Never say never, you know?
It's it's never too late.
Could definitely happen. Okay, yeah, so no indie games yet. I just double checked. Well, we'll keep our eyes open for that one.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So for me, I said number 10, no Switch Pro. They undersold Switches this year because of shortages. The OLED Switch is still hard to find. That's just my justification for that. I don't know why I even wrote that there. Number 9, new Fire Emblem is released. It's never been more than 2 years between releases, and Three Houses was the best-selling game in the franchise. So my question is, do I get this one? Because a new Fire Emblem game is coming out.
No, that's not the next mainline Fire Emblem game.
I didn't say that. I said a new Fire Emblem is
That's
released.
what you meant, because when I said my one, which was it's not going to be turn-based, you were like, I think you're wrong. It's going to be
I was
the
wrong.
next one.
I was wrong about the fact that it wasn't turn-based, but I said a new Fire Emblem.
No
That's
way.
all I said.
You didn't mean that. You did not mean a Warriors game.
Chewy,
meant
what do you
a new
think?
Fire Emblem.
You're being quiet. What do you think? I feel like it counts.
I think there was enough context in that episode for us to know what you meant by new Fire.
Yeah, and
Damn. All right. Okay. All right. I see how it is. When Nintendo stuff comes to not Peacock and you need somebody to back up that insane pick, I'll remember that, Chewy.
But hey, there's still time to unread it because we don't know what's going to happen at E3.
We'll see. They might announce another one. I don't think so though.
The Fire Emblem
they
Radiant
got
Collection.
released another one, not announce it, because you said released.
Yeah. Well, because they're putting out a Warriors game on the trajectory of Fire Emblem. Here's my question. If I go to the Fire Emblem Wikipedia page, is Warriors on the release schedule?
Yeah, it'd be on the release schedule, just like the last one was.
Why doesn't that count?
Because it's not a
It
Fire
says
Emblem
Heroes
game.
right
It's not
here.
what you meant.
Timeline of release years. But here's the thing. If you go and look at the timeline for Pokemon releases, spin-offs are not on it.
It's not what you meant.
But
it's not what you
but
meant.
why doesn't it count? It's right here on the list.
It's not what you meant.
All right, listen, community, I need you to rally behind me on this one, okay? I deserve this point. Y'all, I know you love to push me down and cheat me at a point.
Someone find the audio clip where Pete was just like, "You're totally wrong. It's going to be a new Fire Emblem game. It's not been."
All I'm saying is that
1 or
there's
2
room for
years."
interpretation in the prediction. That's all I'm saying. You know, I feel like I didn't say it was going to be a turn-based. I didn't say mainline. I might have said that, but that's not what we wrote down, right? Like, I don't know. I'm just saying. I just feel like maybe I should have that. I do get number 8 though. And number 7 actually, I think. I'm reading them.
Wikipedia doesn't count it. They count Three Houses as the next one,
No,
and then
but it
they've got
says-
spin-offs, which is the
But if
Fire
you-
Emblem Warriors. Three Hopes was announced. Is in the spin-offs and cameos section.
Oh, damn. But wait, here's the thing though. in the timeline of release years, it has Heroes listed. Oh no, wait, Heroes is never mind. I take it back. That's the mobile
Heroes
game.
is not.
That's
yeah.
the mobile game. All right, you know what? Okay. I'll take the L on that one. But I do have 2 points. Number 8, Nintendo will bring more DLC to the Nintendo Switch expansion pack. Mario Kart 8, thank you very much. And then number 7, Mario Kart 9 will not be revealed. Nintendo is saving it for next-gen consoles.
Yeah.
Yeah, baby. 2 for 2. 2 for 2. Thank you, Mario Kart. Number 6, Metroid Prime 4
We
does...
strip this point of view if it doesn't come next gen. Like if in 14 years' time, at the end of the next generation,
That's not how that works.
we're going to come back and we're going to take this off you. We're going to get the trophy and we'll be like, no, Pete didn't get it then. Strip that title.
No, that's not how it works.
Done.
No, I don't think that's how that works. Well, I'll tell you what we could do, Steve, is if we make a book, right, of all of our championships, you can put an asterisk next to that year, I guess, if you want.
I'm
That's
happy
true.
to do that. Very.
Is it going to be on the belt?
But I'd have to lose by enough
God,
points.
it was a belt.
I'd have to do it. It'd have to be lose by enough points for that to matter, right? Because if I lose that half a point,
If it's 1 point, between it.
I wouldn't
then
lose
that
a whole
pushes
point.
you
I'd
just
lose a half
under.
point. Don't forget.
Oh, okay, fair
Yeah.
enough. Yeah.
So it would have to be I lose that half point, and then someone else would have won. That'd be the only way the asterisk would apply. So we'll see. Number 6, Metroid Prime 4 doesn't release, but we will get a full reveal and Prime Trilogy to tide us over. We'll see. I don't know. That still could happen. Nintendo's rumored Donkey Kong game exists and will be revealed. I'm thinking that will make sense like around E3.
I don't
time.
know at this point because this year's looking chockers, and then unless this is a 2023 game, I don't know where this fits.
That's the thing. I don't think it'll come out this year. I said it exists and will be revealed. I think if we see it at the summer, maybe it's an early 2023 game or it's like a, big release for 2023. Again, think of how long we've been getting teased for Breath of the Wild 2, right?
When did we see Kirby? We saw that last year, didn't we?
We did.
That was
No,
last year.
was it last year? Was it the
I don't
end
know
of
if
last
it wasn't.
year?
That's really early. If it's not,
Let me see.
Hmm.
Kirby.
it must have been last year because it's coming out in March.
Oh yeah,
And
yeah.
And it's in the predictions list.
Yeah, you're right.
So I
September.
could see them doing that.
It was
I think
revealed in
November last
September.
year, right?
It was revealed in
September,
September.
yeah. So
Yeah.
I could see a big September direct outlining what's going to be in 2023 and Donkey Kong's in that.
Yeah,
Definitely
that's
see
what I'm
that
thinking.
happening.
Number 4, Pokemon World Championships will again be canceled. If they do take place, competitors will play Sword and Shield.
Isn't this happening?
I don't think we've gotten an update on it.
Yeah, and
Is
at this rate,
this no,
like,
this
with
isn't
them
the same
already-
as VGC, is it?
and with them already announcing like Scarlet and Violet, I think they're just gonna leave Sword and Shield behind.
Because they,
That would be a shame. Is that no World Championships ever taken place on Sword and Shield then?
yeah.
Mm-mm. Nothing.
Wow.
So it looks like right now it says it's still set to take place in August.
hmm
So we'll see what happens.
I could see that changing. It will definitely be Sword and Shield if it's August then, because I don't think we're seeing Scarlet unless
It's definitely supposed to be.
unless they give the people like early access, right? Because I think they've done that before, haven't they?
You can't do that
Or
for
they
this
can-
kind of thing though, because like you'd have
Or
to
can
have
you
enough
not?
time to get end game and build up a team and yeah.
Mhm.
Because like they did the Smash Bros Invitational,
Right.
right? Whereas you could come and play Ultimate, but I guess the players were pretty much the same, or the fighters are the same from the other games, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this is the one that's been postponed twice now. So
Mm-hmm.
they're still trying to do the worlds from the Sword and Shield era. So we'll see what happens.
Be the
there.
last one and only.
Yeah. Number 3, Nintendo will announce another non-gaming collaboration a la Universal, the Mario movie, or Lego. Nothing yet,
No, I'm not seeing this yet. I don't think.
but could happen. Number 2, Nintendo will reveal the revival of another dormant IP a la Metroid Dread. And I put dormant in quotes, right? Because obviously Metroid, not gone from our hearts, but, we hadn't had a...
Not done anything new for ages.
Yeah, we hadn't had a 2D Metroid in, 14 years, 15 years? So that's kind of what I mean. I imagine that the success of Metroid Dread has them thinking about that in a pretty big way. Number 1, Nintendo will reveal a new IP. Nothing yet, but I feel like it's time, you know?
It's still early.
Legs.
Yeah.
Like they've said that they're trying to work on new IP.
And you got to use the leg straps. You got to use the leg straps on your legs, and you kick
kicking
instead.
Yeah. It's all squats.
I love that. And then my risky pick is Game Boy games come to Nintendo Switch Online. Launch titles include Pokemon Red and Blue, Super Mario Land, and Link's Awakening.
I hope so. I really do hope so. And risky pick, we're not doing half points on risky picks, are we?
That was why I was allowed to get it through, because it was like, if like one of them isn't there, I don't get the points.
So mine,
number 10 for Steve.
Number 10, which has come true, and I'm amazed that it's come true already.
I thought you were fucking crazy for this. Such a good guess.
It made so much sense after I saw that. Literally the day before, I was like, oh, I could see them doing a Warriors game. I wonder what they'll do. Fire Emblem didn't cross my mind with that, and it should have.
A Fire Emblem game that's not turn-based will be announced, which obviously did happen and is coming out this year. Number 9, Nintendo will finally acknowledge that a successor to the Switch is being worked on. So they've got to say, right? They've got to say that we're working on the next Switch, or we're working on a 4K model, or we're doing something. They haven't done that yet. A Xenoblade game will be revealed. I'm surprised this wasn't on Chewie's list. Like, I thought for certain it would have been.
I went the selfish direction and went with a dead franchise.
So I've got that one. Number 7, Mario Party Superstars will get DLC or a free update. Not yet. Number 6, Animal Crossing will receive more content despite Nintendo saying we get no more, which is similar to like Splatoon, right? They kept adding stuff and we had the final Splatfest, and then they just did more and more. Number 5, there will be no new Pokemon RPG announced this year, which has obviously not come true. So I didn't get that one.
Again, I thought that was such a safe bet. I was like, yeah, of course, right? Like,
there's no. See, I think the ones that are crazy, there's no way you'd have let me put that as a risky pick, right? That there's going to be no Pokemon RPG announced for this year.
No,
because everyone thought it was like a sure thing, but it just goes to show that no one can predict what Nintendo does.
Should have been our risky pick to say that they were going to do a new RPG.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, that would have been. I would have been like, okay, accepted. All right, that's crazy, but go ahead.
Number 4, some new software for the Ring-Con will be announced, and I thought for sure I was getting this for Nintendo Switch Sports. They got the leg strap out, and I thought, oh, it's coming next. They're going to do like archery or something in Switch Sports, and it didn't happen. And I was like, come on, Nintendo, dude, so close.
I was so waiting for you to come into like this conversation or be on stream and be like, that counts, that's totally. No.
Definitely does not count. It wasn't the Ring-Con.
It's just the leg strap. Just the leg strap.
Just the leg strap.
Number 3, Netflix will finally come to Switch, which sort of goes also hand in hand with number 2, that a web browser will finally be released for Switch.
No way.
Whether those two happen or not is another thing. I don't know why they haven't.
I think at this point. Wastes. But again,
number 1,
who knows, right? They could be like, oh yeah, tomorrow they're both out.
Audio support. We got Bluetooth audio support last year out of nowhere. Everyone was like, why can't we use Bluetooth headphones? Nintendo, what's going on? Since 2017, we've been asking for it. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, they're like, oh, here's an update that just adds exactly what you've been asking for and works perfectly. So we maybe will get it. Who knows? And then number 1, Nintendo will not release a game based on a new original IP. So they might reveal original IP, which would be Pete, but I don't think anything new is coming out this year. And that's like an original IP, like internal IP.
Oh God, I really hope they put out like a small game that's a new IP, so that I can get the point and you lose the point. What a perfect scenario.
Yeah. It'll be a nice double whammy for you. And then risky, a Nintendo-owned character will appear in a game on a platform other than mobile and not Fortnite. Like, we had so many contingencies in this. Like, it can't be mobile, and it can't be Fortnite, like just so I can get this through a risky pick. And now I've learned that they did an Animal Crossing crossover in Monster Hunter. I could totally see that coming to Rise in the Sunbreak update. So I'm keeping my fingers crossed at this point that they pull through.
And they had Link and Soul Calibur.
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot about that. Yeah, I could see something.
It's not.
Yeah.
It's. I mean, there's the Zelda stuff in the Skyrim port too. Like,
It's
That's
not
no character,
impossible, but it's risky.
yeah, okay, that's fair. It's not a character. Still,
It's not. It's close. It's close enough.
they
though,
had
right?
they had Mario, Peach, and Luigi in NBA Street. Okay, it's gonna happen. It's risky, but it's definitely not outside the realm of possibility. Like, even at all.
It's possible.
Yeah.
So if you're saying that the Skyrim example wouldn't count, we wouldn't count the Monster Hunter one either, though, right? Like, because it's not actually Isabella, it's a costume, or does it actually?
Well, I don't know about that because like it looks exactly like Isabel, right?
Oh, okay. So it's just like a model of
transforms them
her.
into
It's not like
Isabel.
a Palico dressed up like her.
No, it's like a model of her. From
Got
what I
it.
can
Okay,
tell.
I'd say that counts.
Like Son is a Sonic model for the Palico.
Yeah,
Um,
I'd say that counts then.
so I think that would
And
count.
Rossetti. They also did
And
Rossetti.
Rossetti.
They did that
Yeah.
in the PlayStation version of Ultimate. There was an Aloy skin that just looked like Aloy.
Yeah, it's really weird. And then now obviously Fortnite just puts everyone in there,
Yeah.
and they wanted Samus, but it hasn't happened yet.
Okay. So our current standings are Chewy with no points, two seemingly disproven.
There's
I've
still
got
hope.
there's still hope, still hope. I've got 2 points, one seemingly disproven, and Steve has 2 points, one seemingly disproven. So we are all tied up, Steve.
Yeah.
Chewy's
And
got an
we've
uphill
all got
battle, but he's still in the
2
game.
points on the calendar. Like no one's got anything on the calendar other than Pokemon.
Yeah.
So
And I
it-
think that could be a total wash.
I was gonna
'cause
say it's
don't see us
effectively
getting
a
any of those.
zero, right? If we all have the
Yeah.
same amount of points, it doesn't matter. So there's a real chance that entire thing is a wash.
But you both have gotten an extra one wrong. That's what matters.
This is
to
true.
me.
Yeah. This is
I
true.
have more opportunities.
I mean, what a devastating, like, you got one exactly right. Like, you would have won probably the entire thing if
No.
that didn't change, right? Because,
That's-
like, what are
that's
the
the
odds that
point
one of us
straight
got
away.
a date right like that?
Well, I didn't consult Putin earlier, so.
Yeah, rookie mistake.
hmm
But anyway, we will, of course, check in on these again throughout the year. I feel like once a quarter is nice, and we can kind of see how we're doing. And, so next time we've got an open week, we'll have to check back in on these a couple months from now and see how we're all getting on. But remember, everybody, spam Steve and Chewy to tell them that I deserve my points for the Fire Emblem pick.
No, you
Let's clinch this victory. Let's keep
Even
the
your
belt
own
where it
argument
belongs
was just
with
like-
the champ. Okay?
No. Even your own argument was just like totally disproven. You thought
Yeah.
Heroes was the Warriors game, and it's not. It's the mobile
Just
game.
listen back to the episode.
cares?
You did not
Who
mean
cares, right? Like-
anything other than a traditional Fire Emblem.
Who cares, though, right? Like, get behind me, community. You can make it happen. You got Steve to play Monster
No.
Hunter. We can get me these points, okay?
You already had your freebie point over on Flip Screen Games with the.
Okay. All right, freebie points. My balls, all right? Like, PlayStation hasn't delayed games from a month before they were going to come out. Oh, wait, I forgot. They've done that like 5 times in the last 3 years. No big deal. Yeah, it was totally a lock. And you guys were like, oh, this went gold like months ago, and it didn't even do that. And I found out that was a total lie. So I don't even want to hear it, okay? Now's the time to get behind me, community, okay? You tried to fuck me on this Horizon thing. Now, fuck these guys on the Fire Emblem thing. Let's go, all right? Let's collude a little bit. Get me some points on these boards, all right? Anyway, Thank you guys for joining us here on another episode of Nintendo Noise. Remember, if you want to be a part of the show, if you want to write in, if you want to show your support, you can find links to do all that stuff over on flipscreen.games, our website where you can find our P.O. Box, our Twitch channel, our Patreon, all kinds of stuff. And, if you go and happen to go and support us over on that there Patreon, there are a bunch of perks and goodies you can get, including our Patreon exclusive podcast, One More Thing, archives of our Twitch streams, all kinds of good stuff. So go and check it out. Show your support however you choose to. However you choose to show that support. We appreciate you being here. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Nintendo Noise. I've been Pete. He's been Chewy. He's been Steve. We'll see you next time.